Hello, and welcome to the 2020 NASA Human Exploration Rover Challenge Virtual Award Ceremony. My name is Steve Miley, and I'm the Associate Director at Marshall Space Flight Center. And on behalf of NASA's Office of STEM Engagement and Marshall Space Flight Center, I congratulate every team that participated in this year's event. Thank you all for your enthusiasm for this competition and the hard work that your entries represent. You are such an inspiration to us at NASA. NASA is proud to be a part of the Rover Challenge because we want you to be excited about potential careers in science, engineering, technology, and math, the STEM fields. This competition is one of the Artemis Student Challenges, which are designed to attract and inspire America's next generation of scientists, engineers, and explorers, while also engaging them in the innovative science and engineering critical to NASA's Artemis program. And I want to give a big shout out to our OSTEM team that made great efforts to innovate and find ways to preserve as much of this competition as possible in the face of these unprecedented conditions. We are proud to have such an agile and creative group that has prioritized safety and still found ways to maintain the spirit of this event. This competition is a terrific example of how leaders in government, industry, and academia can work with young people to foster their talents and show how teamwork can lead to great things. As you know, this year's competition met unique challenges that required us to focus our efforts in a different way. As pioneers of space exploration, NASA faces challenges in what we do on a regular basis, and we choose to find solutions to those challenges. And there were so many challenges beyond the typical competition that you had to overcome. Your skills went beyond the course this year, and you demonstrated all the attributes we are looking for at NASA: agility, problem solving, creating unique solutions, enthusiasm, and as always, pushing the limits of innovation. All those traits are a great foundation for your future in STEM fields, skills that we need across NASA. For more than 25 years, the NASA Human Exploration Rover Challenge and its sponsors have encouraged student teams from across the world to overcome obstacles. And these awards recognize the hard work each team has accomplished in designing and building human-powered rovers. Having to design these rovers to traverse a simulated exoplanetary course and conduct mission tasks along the way was intended to simulate some of the skills we are looking for at NASA. Just as NASA's missions adapt to meet our exploration goals, this competition has changed drastically over the years. From the original 6 teams who raced in 1994 to the more than 100 teams that participated last year. Rover Challenge is no longer just a physical challenge, though. When the mission tasks elements were added in 2018, it transformed from a race into a mission where teams have to think strategically about what obstacles to take on. The same way our NASA team faces design reviews for upcoming missions, you were faced with these same challenges when making the crucial decisions in building your rovers. The challenges you faced with this competition go beyond anything we've seen before. Everything from the designing the wheels and mission tools to the strategic planning of maximizing points obtainable within the 8 minutes of virtual oxygen. To all of the students who took on these tasks and participated in Rover Challenge, we salute you and congratulate you on your accomplishments. You have no idea how excited it makes me to see the pride you take in your work, even though the competition didn't go how many of us expected. Believe it or not, you are the inspiration for me and others at NASA as we work to put the first woman and the next man on the surface of the moon. I hope you take what you learned from this event and use it in whatever the future holds for you. Based on what I've seen from these awards, it will be a bright future. And hopefully, we will see you again as engineers and scientists working in the aerospace industry or maybe even NASA. No matter where your future leads you, I encourage each of you not to lose the sense of purpose that led you here today and stay involved in the STEM fields. After all, you are the scientists, engineers, technicians, and explorers who will carry on the mission of exploration in the decades to come. In closing, I want to give a big thanks to the mentors, the faculty advisors, and teachers who helped each of the teams. You should all be proud of your successes this year. It did not go unnoticed. And now, it's time for the awards.
Hello, my name is Darian Leslie, and I am an intern, and I am honored to present the System Safety Award on behalf of the International System Safety Society, who are professionals dedicated to the safety of systems, products, and services. This award recognizes a team in each division that best exemplifies system safety practices. This includes the application of engineering, management principles, criteria, and techniques intended to optimize the safety. This year's winning teams demonstrated that safety needs to be a part of the design rather than needed as an afterthought, focused on important activities such as hazard analysis. With this analysis, they identified and characterized the hazard posed by the system or its operation. This year's winning team did a hazard analysis of not only the parts that could be improved on their rover for safety, but delved into the ergonomics of the seats and pedals to make the most efficient ride for their drivers. By defining the challenges, summarizing the risks, the winning team worked to make significant enhancements to their rover for an overall safe and comfortable experience. The winner of the System Safety Award in the high school division is Mount Juliet High School from Mount Juliet, Tennessee, and the winner system of the Safety Award in the college and university division is Instituto Tecnológico de Santo Domingo from Distrito Nacional, Dominican Republic. Congratulations.
Hello, my name is Kristen Marquez, and I am the Production, Test, and Launch Engineering Director for Boeing, and I am excited to present this year's Technology Challenge Award. The goal of the Technology Challenge Award is to involve students with hands-on engineering experiences related to NASA's mission of exploration and discovery. Mobility devices, such as rovers, simulate the extension to astronauts' range and carrying capabilities as they explore other worlds. The award is given to the team that best addressed this year's technology challenge of wheel design and fabrication. The winner of this year's award had a very unique design that focused on maneuverability and the suspension system. Utilizing a fin system mechanism around the inner and outer edges of the wheel, this team demonstrated a design that could operate over several types of simulated surfaces while increasing the contact section of the wheel. The team should be applauded for their design and focus on specific criteria, including safety, durability, stability, and maneuverability. This year's winner of the Technology Challenge Award is Universidad Nacional de Ingeniería from Lima, Peru. Congratulations.
Hello, my name is Louis Ramirez. I'm the Executive Director and CEO of the U.S. Space and Rocket Center, and I am happy to present this year's Drivetrain Award. Over time, we anticipate that the drivetrain on exploration rovers will consist of reliable systems such as belts, drive shafts, or direct drives that replace chains, which are commonly employed. The goal of the challenge is to recognize the best overall performing high school or college team that demonstrates a reliable drivetrain system that eliminates chains. This year's winner of the Drivetrain Award utilized lightweight materials with a high degree of strength and resistance of the traction elements that bending and twisting due to the actions of the external forces acting on it. They also ensured that the differential allowed the wheels to turn at different RPMs while receiving power and was able to handle quick movements to the right and left using a spider gear. This team should be commended for their creativity and innovation of their drivetrain. The team which best addressed this year's Drivetrain Technology Challenge was the Universidad ECCI, Bogota, Colombia. Congratulations.
Hello, my name is Ragini Acharya and I am the STEM Director for American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics, Greater Huntsville Section. I'm here to present AIAA Best Report Award. American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics, AIAA, is world's largest professional society of aerospace professionals with nearly 30,000 individual members from 85 countries and 95 corporate members. It began nearly 80 years ago as a group of science fiction writers who were dreaming of spaceflight in the 1930s. Since then, it has become an integral part of the aerospace and defense communities worldwide. The AIAA Best Report Award recognizes the best overall report that includes an explanation of the problem that the team was trying to solve, their schedule, the development process, technical challenges that they faced, construction, test, budget, conclusion, team bios, and their assigned tasks. The winning teams addressed all aspects of the entire plan from start to finish. They explained their schedule and identified any major delays and setbacks that they faced. Cost comparisons were addressed from projected to final cost at the end of the project. Communicating their process gave us a look at how their team's involvement during the year evolved by the contributions of each members towards presenting the best rover through the most economical means. This year's winning teams have demonstrated their knowledge of the process and requirements in form of this report, conveying to the reader the entire scope of their rover challenge project. These teams discussed not only the procedures that led to the final product, but also explained how they went through the assumptions and constraints during the development of these concepts, a very important part of the design and development process. The winning teams included the trials and course corrections that took place during such an undertaking. The winner of this year's AIAA Best Report Award in the high school division is Parish Episcopal School from Dallas, Texas. And the winner of this year's AIAA Best Report Award in the university or college division is Trine University from Angola. Congratulations to both teams.
My name is Nishant Goli, and I am the chair of the AIAA Greater Huntsville section. And I am excited to present this year's AIAA Telemetry and Electronics Award. This award recognizes the team that develops the most innovative and useful real-time telemetry systems for operation as demonstrated through report submission. This year's winning team demonstrated the efficiency of their telemetry system by justifying the design choice made relative to its weight, usefulness to their crew, and provided the technical details that demonstrate the competence to broadcast and receive real-time data to their central station during the event. This year's winner of the AIAA Telemetry and Electronic Award goes to Tecnologico de Monterio from Morelos, Mexico. Thank you. All the best.
Hello, my name is Amy McDowell, and I am an education specialist supporting the NASA Human Exploration Rover Challenge, and I'm excited to present this year's Best Design Award. The Neil Armstrong Best Design Award is given to the team in each division whose rover design represents the best technical approach towards solving the engineering problem of navigating the extraterrestrial terrain. The award is based on the winning team's technical approach to their designs, not on their rover performance. This year's winning teams established a project lifecycle that demonstrated the entire process from start to finish. They also took into consideration the potential likelihood of failure and the approaches to overcome those perceived issues. The winner of the Neil Armstrong Best Design Award in the high school division is Escambia High School from Pensacola, Florida. This year's winner of the Neil Armstrong Best Design Award in the College and University Division is Middle Tennessee State University from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Congratulations.
Hello, my name is Johnny Stevenson, and I'm the Director for the Office of Strategic Analysis and Communications at NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center. I'm honored to present this year's new Task Challenge Award. Task Challenge Award is awarded to the team in each division who best demonstrates a 3D printed tool designed for the liquid sample retrieval task. 3D manufacturing creates an inexpensive way to manufacture parts on site and certainly cuts down on transit time and wait time between locations. This is some technology that we'll use whether it's on the moon or on Mars. So thank you for contributing, and we want to award the winners now. The winner in the high school division, the Task Challenge. They had a unique design that consisted of 3 syringes secured to the end of a pipe by a 3D printed mount, a one-way valve that attached to a tube at the end of the syringe, and then a wire extended from the end of the plunger attaching to the 3D printed handle. They also had some unique color coding on their handles, which was really unique and good as well. The team weighed different options, looking at lessons learned from last year, and that's certainly a component of engineering and science, as we always try to learn from those that go before and efforts in the past that maybe didn't go quite the way that we wanted them to. And in addition, this team did something really unique, and they used their time to give back to their community while we were facing a stay-at-home issue, as obviously we all are facing, and that is they manufactured and developed masks for their local community. So the winner in the high school division, St. Thomas Academy from Mendota Heights, Minnesota. Congratulations, St. Thomas. Winner in the college or university division, they created a unique tool with a plunger design that allowed the liquid to flow into a syringe. The team did go a step further than using a simple syringe. The team designed a plunger hold-open component that, when rotated 45 degrees, it locks the valve open to allow the force of the syringe to collect the liquid automatically, and ultimately it minimizes the efforts that the rover team has to put in. The 3D team printed the rod, the hold-open piece, syringe bracket, and they allowed for the design to also work with their collection devices as well. So let us applaud the team in the college and university division as well. That winner is the University of Alabama in Huntsville. Go Chargers. That's my alma mater, so special congrats to you. But thanks to all of you for participating. Great competition, great work, uniqueness, and something that we at NASA really appreciate. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Kevin McCaw, and I'm the director of the Southeast Regional STEM Engagement Office, responsible for STEM engagement activities at both Marshall Space Flight Center and Stennis Space Center. And I'm thrilled to present this year's STEM Engagement Award. The STEM Engagement Award provides teams with an opportunity to share their passion and knowledge with others, with the goal of motivating others to explore STEM options in the future. Each team is asked to conduct instructional hands-on activities with at least 200 participants, where they are engaged in learning a STEM topic by actively participating in either a face-to-face activity, through a instructor-led facilitation, or a presentation through virtual avenues like WebEx and Skype. Teams are judged on not only the number of students reached, but also their creativity, uniqueness of activities, and the ability to demonstrate the impact of each engagement on student learning. This year's winner in the high school division reached out to elementary and junior high schools in their region. They worked with more than 1,000 students to assist with the design of a 3D printed tool for the liquid sample retrieval task. Students worked in teams, and they utilized engineering reports to document their design and their use of critical thinking skills. The student designs assisted the team with their final 3D printed tool. We are so proud of this year's High School STEM Engagement Award winner. The winner for the high school division is Blue Ridge High School from Lakeside, Arizona. Congratulations, Blue Ridge High School. In the college or university division, this year's winner chose to focus on reaching students with disabilities and teaching concepts such as math, physics, programming, and mechanics. The team submitted a number of lesson plans, inclusive of sign language interpreters, translation materials, and detailed hands-on classroom activities with evaluation methods. These activities include the use of Lego kits, parachutes, and miniature catapults. Their goal was to motivate students with hearing disabilities to pursue engineering careers and contribute to the development of their country. I think they've done just that. This year's College and University Division of the STEM Engagement Award goes to Universidad ECCI from Bogota, Colombia. Congratulations.